All right, let's talk about Amazon Q Developer. We're going to dive into how it's becoming this AI teammate that lives right inside the places you already work, GitLab and GitHub. This is pretty cool, so let's see how it actually works.
Just think about this for a second. You're looking at a brand new feature request, or maybe some really old, gnarly code. Now, what if you didn't have to start from scratch? What if you had an AI that could just take that idea and start writing the code, or review your pull request for you, or even tackle modernizing that old app, all without you ever having to switch screens?
Well, that is exactly the idea behind Amazon Q Developer. And look, this isn't just another chatbot you open in a separate window. The whole point is that it's designed to be a real part of your team, like an AI sidekick that actually understands the context of your issues and your pull requests.
Okay, so first up, let's look at GitLab. The way Q plugs in here is through something they call quick actions. These are basically just simple slash commands, slash something, that you can type right into your issues and merge requests to get the AI to do stuff for you.
And these commands are really intuitive. They're meant to just fit right into how you already work. So you've got a feature idea sitting in a GitLab issue. You just type /qdev. Need a second pair of eyes on your code in a merge request? That's /qreview. It's a whole suite of help, literally right there at your fingertips.
Let's zoom in on Q Dev for a second, because this one is a real game changer. You write up an issue, you describe the feature you want, and then you just type that command. Q gets to work. It creates a new branch, and then it generates a whole merge request with a proposed solution. It literally turns your words into code. But what about making sure the code is actually good? That's where /qreview comes in. Q will scan your merge requests for all the stuff a human reviewer would, potential bugs, bad patterns, security holes, and it leaves detailed comments right there for you.
And this really gets to the why behind a feature like /qtransform. It's all about helping you manage that technical debt before it gets out of control. It's not just about bumping a Java version. It's about making sure your applications are built to last and to scale.
So how do you actually get this Java transformation thing set up? It really just boils down to these three things. First, you need a GitLab runner that can do the heavy lifting. Then, you just tell your CI/CD pipeline about this new transformation job. And finally, you kick it all off from an issue. See, it's meant to plug right into the CI/CD process you already have.
Now, let's switch gears and look at GitHub. It's important to know this part is still in preview, but it takes a really interesting approach. Instead of just commands, it uses these AI agents that you can trigger with either labels or / commands.
So you get a ton of flexibility here. You can use the same kind of / commands like in GitLab, sure, but you can also just use GitHub's own label system. You can even set it up to automatically review every single pull request that gets opened. Pretty handy.
Okay, this is where that AI teammate idea gets very, very real. In GitHub, you can literally assign an issue to the Amazon Q development agent, just like you'd assign it to Bob or Sarah on your team. Q then picks up the ticket, writes the code, and submits a pull request when it's done.
And check this out. The code review agent isn't just a critic. It doesn't just tell you what's wrong. It actively gives you suggested code changes that you can commit with a single click. It turns feedback into a fix instantly.
And this is where things get really wild. It's not a one-and-done thing. It's a conversation. You can leave comments on Q's pull request with your feedback, and the AI will actually analyze what you wrote and push up new code. It even watches your GitHub actions. If a build fails, Q can look at the logs and try to fix its own code.
Setting up the Java transformation in GitHub is just as simple. You just make sure GitHub Actions is turned on for your repo, you add the job to your workflow file, and then you just slap the Amazon Q transform agent label on an issue. That's it. The agent takes it from there.
All right, for any of this to be useful on a real team, the AI can't just do whatever it wants. It needs to follow your team's rules. And that's where this feature called Project Rules comes into play. And it works across both GitLab and GitHub.
So what even is a project rule? It's honestly just a markdown file. You put it in a special .amazonq folder, and inside, you write out your team's coding standards in plain English. Q will then read that file and make sure all the code it writes and reviews follows your guidelines.
And you can get super specific here. You could set a security rule like this one for S3 buckets. Or you could define your code style, or rules about which libraries to use. It's basically how you teach the AI to code your way. Okay, so you're probably thinking, this sounds great. How do I get this AI teammate on my project? Let's quickly break down how you get started.
Now, this is a really key difference between the two. Getting started on GitHub is ridiculously easy. You can just install it for free right from the GitHub marketplace. The GitLab integration, on the other hand, is a bit more enterprise-focused, and it does require some initial AWS setup to get everything connected.
So, if we boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? Amazon Q Developer is here to automate a lot of the heavy lifting, from coding new features to reviewing your work and even modernizing old code. And the best part? With project rules, it does all of this while following your team's standards, making it feel like a real integrated part of your workflow.
This really feels like a fundamental shift in how we think about our tools, right? We're moving away from tools that are just passive helpers to ones that are active, collaborative teammates. So I guess the big question it leaves us with is, are you ready to let an AI join your team?